I'm Sarah, I'm from Tafwa, and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
My name is Freddy, I'm from Gamiatong. I listen to Mario on the traffic jam every afternoon.
Hi, my name is Salah, I live in Asinu. Today FM rocks.
My name is Denasa, and I'm from Lutoka, and I love listening to Today FM.
My name is Hulamila, I work at Golden Point Resort. I love listening to Today FM. It rocks in Raki Raki.
I'm Mary from Mandera. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
We love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
Good evening, this is FBC News. I'm Amrita Priyadarshini. In this bulletin, 14 bridges successfully redesigned and constructed along the Nambawalu-Raketi Highway. Fire destroys a bure at Beachcomber Island Resort. And MSEF warns on vessel overloading ahead of the busy festive season. Fourteen bridges have been successfully redesigned and constructed along the Nambawalu-Raketi Highway in Vanwalevu. The construction of the bridges has been one of the difficult tasks by the road contractors, China Railway First Group. Akasita Tale has more.
One travelling along the Nambawalu-Raketi Highway will be marvelled by the new tar-sealed road. However, the bridges is also set to catch the eye. The China Railway Group says 14 original bridges have been demolished and replaced with new ones.
The bridges that were built, the decks of the bridges had deteriorated really badly and they were unsafe. So we had to reinforce those bridges while we built the new bridges.
Mock adds the demolishment had no effect on the construction, but the bridges have been redesigned to give it a longer lifespan.
The bridges, for instance, were originally designed for 50 years. We increased the design life to 100 years. So you can expect even a longer life than that. And we also had to take into account some of the bridges in the proximity to the coast, for corrosive factors.
Of this, only one bridge has been specially constructed in a Mau settlement to go underwater if there is a flood to save nearby houses. This bridge was initially planned to be designed higher, which meant the road would have had to be raised.
How do you safely use it if you can't see the deck of it? If it's underwater, how do you guide traffic across safely? Because obviously when it gets really deep, they won't be able to go across anyway. The flow will be too strong. But when it's just underwater, you need to be able to see where to go out the other side of the bridge, if you like. So we think we've solved that problem by having the guardrails coming down, and you'll be able to see the guardrail on the other side of the bridge.
The total cost of the redesign and construction of the new bridges was approximately $7 million. Akosita Talei, FBC News.
Returning to the Commonwealth after 8 years, Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama joined 52 other leaders at Malta's capital city of Valletta yesterday to attend the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting. Fiji was suspended from attending intergovernmental Commonwealth meetings, including heads of government meetings and ministerial meetings following the 2006 events. The theme for the meeting is Adding Global Value, which was opened by the head of the Commonwealth, Queen Elizabeth II. The three-day meeting that ends tomorrow involves leaders discussing a range of issues that are critical to the Commonwealth. Fiji is expected to benefit from this with the establishment of a new climate finance hub in Mauritius.
This hub is to make the availability of finance which exists in theory, climate finance, into a reality for the small states. The small states are told that large amounts of money is available as climate finance, but no one told them the telephone number to dial, or the form to fill, or the process to follow. This disconnect is sought to be remedied by us.
Meanwhile, Baroness Patricia Scotland of Dominica has been elected the new Secretary-General of Commonwealth, replacing India's Kamalesh Sharma. Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama met with the President of France, François Hollande, at the 4th France-Oceania Summit in Paris. Bainimarama, along with other Pacific leaders, had earlier met Hollande in their separate sub-regional groups of Melanesia, Polynesia, and Micronesia. He informed Hollande that Fiji values its membership of the MSG. Bainimarama says he's confident that under the leadership of France, the 21st meet of the Conference of Parties, or COP21, will have a successful outcome. Bainimarama also told a plenary session chaired by Hollande that the Pacific is in danger and it is time for the world to act to save the region. Bainimarama says Fiji will reduce global carbon emissions by 30% by 2030 as it's moving towards hydro and solar power. He called for a renewed commitment towards the establishment of the Green Climate Fund and praised France for its support. A number of activists have expressed their disappointment on Australia's stance towards the fight against climate change. Ahead of the COP21 meeting in Paris, activists want to send a strong message to the world leaders on their expectations of the outcome of the meeting. Ali Kimbia has more.
With the COP21 meeting in France starting on Tuesday, local climate activists have raised concerns on Australia's attitude towards the fight against climate change.
Australia's stand is quite disappointing in terms of, being greedy, and for someone who's quite influential within the global arena, Australia's position with that of the Pacific is quite different, and I think Australia should live up to its responsibility.
Speaking during the climate change march in Suva, Nolan Nambulibo said developed nations should take heed of the suffering of small Pacific Island countries.
If you really care about human rights and about justice and about social equity, then you must care about climate justice. You can't give with one hand and take with another. It's not possible in this system that we call Earth.
Activists are urging Pacific Islanders to be strong enough to confront their leaders and hold them accountable for their decisions on climate change. Ali Kimbia, FBC News.
Police have confirmed that a bure at the Beachcomber Island Resort in the Mamanuthas was destroyed by fire on Friday. Videos of the fire were posted on social media. An official at the resort also confirmed the incident, saying there were no major damages. Over 200 Kiwi university students were on the island for a week-long holiday when the incident happened, and the group also included New Zealand Prime Minister John Key's son. New Zealand media reports the blaze that is thought to have been started by a discarded cigarette ripped through a bure at around 2 a.m., just hours before the festival goers were to board a yacht to Nadi for their flights home. Now, no one was injured. Police are still waiting a report on the fire. The Maritime Safety Authority of Fiji will be closely monitoring passenger boats this festive season to prevent overloading. MSF Acting Chief Executive John Tunindao says non-compliance with the law will result in prosecution, suspension or cancellation of the Master's Certificate of Competency and detention of the ship. Ali Kimbia.
The master of a ship is responsible for the safe operation of a ship on a voyage, including the safety and well-being of all passengers, crew and cargo carried. MSF Acting CEO John Tunindao says enforcement officers will ensure that vessel owners meet the maximum weight that is required before departure, since overloading a vessel poses unnecessary danger.
So we have crowd management control. These are done by our enforcement officers in the various ports or prescribed wharfs in Fiji, such as Lebuka, Suva, Natobi, Lebuka, Suva, Tabuini, Sabsabu, and so on. That we in Nambualu, to make sure that people do not rush when they load, to make sure also that they are counted, that that the passengers that are being loaded onto the ship is in compliance to the survey regulation.
It is a norm that most people utilizing vessels during this festive season, and MSF is appealing to members to take precautionary measures on board inter-island ships.
When you're loaded, but still you need to keep a close eye on your children when you're aboard the ship. It's a different operating environment. Unlike land, you're operating at sea, different sea conditions. You need to take care of your children when they're there, that they do not wander. Yeah, that's the responsibility of passengers when they are on the ship. Yeah, so it's important for them to make sure that this is done.
MSF is also working with other stakeholders to ensure that no mishaps happen. Ali Kimbia, FBC News.
After the break in our successful Fijian segment, we take a look at a Fiji man and his travel business in New Zealand.
My टिकरी मदर्स क्लब की रोहिणी कुमार हूँ और रेडियो फीजी 2 की मैं बड़ी दीवानी हूँ।
मेरा नाम राम है, मैं लटोका में रहता हूँ और जस्ती करके मैं रेडियो फीजी 2 सुन रहा हूँ।
हाय, मैं हूँ आइना नाभवा टाउन से। नाभवा में रेडियो फीजी 2 सबकी पसंद।
मेरा नाम अश्विन है, मैं रेगरेकी में टैक्सी का व्यापार करता हूँ और ज़्यादातर हम लोग रेगरेकी में रेडियो फीजी 2 सुनते हैं।
हमारा नाम रोशनी है, मैं टावा टाउन से बात कर रही हूँ। मुझे रेडियो फीजी बहुत पसंद है।
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन।
Welcome back to FBC News. The Grace Road Group has recently opened their agriculture institution in Navua, which aims to promote agriculture in the country. It's known as Agriculture Training Institution, opened in Wanindova Road in Navua.
The company is calling on community farmers and students from various universities to take part in the courses they offer. Company President Daniel Kim says the course will enable students to have broader knowledge of agriculture.
Farming is the foundation of Fiji nation. But in order to develop this agriculture industry, we need the proper institute.
Kim says they will begin teaching the course in January and will be able to cater for 200 students.
This new institution, with training the theory in our institute, and it's just a 1 minute, the walking distance, we have our Grace Road Nabua farm. That's our headquarters. So theory they can learning from the institute, the practical skill they can training in our farm.
The Agricultural Training Institution has a conference hall, 4 lecture halls, a library, dormitories and a research center for students. Shriti Prasad, FBC News.
Outrigger Fiji Beach Resort celebrated its 15th anniversary yesterday. The resort celebrated this in style by awarding its staff who have been with them since then. Acting Prime Minister Ayah Sayed Qayyum, who was the chief guest at the award ceremony, acknowledged the hard work of staff, saying Fiji is popular among tourists because of its hospitality. 26 staff received awards last night.
I have gone through so many managers, likewise with the supervisors and managers. I have gained a lot of experience and that really boosts my morality in my daily basis.
Last 15 years has been great. It has been a great journey. In 3 words I will describe, it has been challenging, exciting and rewarding.
Meanwhile, in another development by the Outrigger Fiji Beach Resort, a meeting bureau and a fully equipped computer lab was opened yesterday. The project has been fully funded by the resort to help the students at the Thonua District School in Coral Coast, Singatoka. Shriti Prasad reports.
Outrigger Resort is well known for its community projects along the Coral Coast, and its latest project is to help the students of Thonua District School.
Outrigger's taken the lead with stuff like this, so these community-based projects just help the community out quite a lot. It's just not the meeting bureau, there's also the school, etc. But these initiatives, I think, is wonderful too for tourists to get involved in.
The school now has a fully equipped computer lab and a bureau. Outrigger General Manager Peter Hopgood says they funded the project by taking $100 from every customer spend.
About 15 months ago, we're all sitting in the old meeting shed over here. We're having a service-ever, and then it started bucketing rain. And the rain started coming through the roof and up through the floorboards. And that's when I mentioned to my colleague, Mr. Kini Sarai, I said, I think they need a new meeting bureau. That's where the idea came from.
Hopgood says the bureau is also accessible to the community of Nawamangi. Shriti Prasad, FBC News.
Project Bulamai Style Fiji held another successful fashion show last night in Nandi. The objective for the show this year is to start the St. John's Fiji Ambulance Appeal, which will enable the St. John Association of Fiji to acquire 2 ambulances. The ambulances have been donated by St. John Hong Kong, but Style Fiji is helping collect money for freight costs, which comes to over $73,000. Style Fiji organizer Zelda Thomas says the support towards their community projects are increasing.
Certainly, the contacts have improved since 2011, and I think people are starting to trust us a little bit more and, take us a little bit more seriously. So I think think the sponsorship and the involvement of the corporates has grown somewhat, and we're hoping for a cash sponsor 2016.
Another highlight of the night was the auctioning of a jersey signed by New Zealand wing Julian Savea, who won the recent World Cup, and it sold for $7,000. Now, from studying electrical engineering to a successful career in the tourism industry, this is the story of a Fijian living in New Zealand who has thrived over the years in a business he hardly knew about before he ventured into it. In our Successful Fijian segment this week, Rohit Deo caught up with New Zealand-based Travel 2000 director Mohammed Kasif Khan.
Successful Fijians is brought to you by the Fiji Development Bank, your partner in progress.
He has a Fijian flag in his office, loves grog, is a joyous person among friends, and runs an award-winning business in New Zealand. He has been doing this for more than a decade now and has come a long way since then.
We've been in the industry for more than probably 13 years now, and I anticipated in this business back in 2011, being the owner of the business. It's the family business. I originate from Suva myself. I have migrated from Suva about 18 years ago.
The company has been in business for 13 years now. Travel 2000 has been one of the top travel agents in New Zealand and has been receiving awards from Fiji Airways in the last few years.
We've been getting awards from the national carrier, Fiji Airways, being their #1 agent for the past 4 years. And we contribute quite a lot towards Fiji being a travel agent, and we try to promote Fiji as much as we can to our clientele out of Auckland and wider New Zealand as well.
Khan came to New Zealand alone, and starting a business in one of the most busiest cities in the region was never going to be easy.
It was hard, I must say. So much of family life was sacrificed initially first when I came. It wasn't easy basically coming to New Zealand, but I had that family support back from Fiji, and of course having my relatives here, my close relatives who were very supportive to the idea of us, or me rather, getting involved in the business.
Khan has a lot of interest in music and electronics and thus took up electronic engineering after high school. Little did he know back then that his future lied in a different field altogether.
Till date at times I do regret that I couldn't complete my course, but it was something which I thought that it would have been beneficial for me if I would have been in Fiji, but then it was too late for me.
Khan always wanted to operate a business in Fiji. A political instability in the years of 2000 and 2001 forced him to move to New Zealand to look for a better future. He says the current political status in the country is totally different now and does sometimes regret leaving Fiji.
Looking at the current situation in Fiji, how things have progressed so big that you find yourself to say, is Fiji? That's a question which you have, and that is what people mostly talk about, to say, well, it's totally different. What it used to be, what it is now, it's totally different. Even I personally regret at times. I must admit, I personally regret at times leaving Fiji.
Khan's business employees are mostly Fijians who have migrated to New Zealand, and the feeling of being from Fiji can be felt in his office. The past 18 years of his life has been a busy one, and he expects more busier days ahead, but is determined to continue working hard. He had dedicated his success to his hard work and honesty.
I'm looking at basically getting into some sort of tourism business in Fiji, which with my other counterparts who are based in Fiji, of course, and that is what we're thinking of doing actually.
Travel 2000 has plans of opening branches in Fiji in the near future, and also to expand itself in New Zealand. He has won the hearts of many with his Fijian style of doing business in New Zealand and continues to thrive in the tourism industry. Khan's story surely reveals that whichever corner of the world a Fijian may be, his heart will surely remain that of a Fijian. Rohit Deo, FBC News.
Fijians was brought to you by the Fiji Development Bank, your partner in progress.
Stay tuned. Coming up in sports, Fiji futsal team prepare for their New Zealand tour. An NCC finalist confirmed. That and more after the break.
Nironto Vinkarabi Ben Hilopo, Viroro Ozo. And Bula FM number 2 and a share.
Yung bula bina tanggung peli untuk talitin na parang bula FM na wo.
Number 2 na nga ng Bula FM no sur. Bula FM number 2 and share.
Bula siya puni babu lambasa na ko bila merikibi Bula FM number 2 and share talita itu ngai lambas.
Bula FM number 2 and share.
Leading FBC Sports tonight, the Vodafone Fiji 7 side has settled well in Abu Dhabi ahead of next week's Dubai Sevens. The team held a gym session and a training session upon arrival with the Fijiana side. The men's team will hold 2 scrimmage sessions with the USA team before the tournament. Fiji's first match at the tournament is against Canada at 6 p.m. on Friday, and you can watch the entire tournament live on FBC TV. The 8 finalists for the 2015 Rooster Chicken National Club Championships have been confirmed. Bars 4R Electric, Nandi's Namaka FC and Lautoka City United have qualified for the West, while Suvas Bureta FC and Civic FC with Nakasi Lions, Chelsea FC and Lokia United have qualified from the Southern Division. Rohit Deo covered the playoffs today and files this report.
18 teams took part in this year's National Club Championships playoffs. The competition level compared to past years has shown improvement.
The level of competition this year, I say, has improved compared to last year, and even the premier teams are gelling in well with the super premier clubs, and they have performed marvelously well.
It was good to see the 3 qualifiers from the West coming from 3 different districts. This showed the toughness of the competition.
If you see the Western Division, all 3 districts are equally divided. A team from each district. It will be there will be a strong representation from the Western Zone in the National Club Championship finals come next week.
The finals will be played next Saturday and Sunday at Bars Govin Park. Suvas Civic FC are the defending champions of the competition. The winner of this year's competition walks away with $4,000. Rohit Deo, FBC Sports.
And the Vodafone Fiji futsal team is into its final stages of preparations ahead of the New Zealand tour in less than 2 weeks. The team is in camp at the Fiji football headquarters in Watuanga under the guidance of coach Imtiaz Ali. Rohit Deo caught up with the team today.
The Fiji futsal side is not taking its tour of New Zealand lightly, as this is the final chance to test their combinations against top-class teams before they compete at the World Cup qualifiers in February next year. The coach has been impressed with his players so far.
80% of my team is the first travelers. Forget about playing the national colors. Few that we have made new passports, so it's the first ever trip to them, and that's what we wanted actually. That's what we wanted Fiji FA, and thankful to the members that they given us the opportunity.
There are many new faces in the squad, with majority players to travel for their first overseas trip to represent the country. With the average age of the side at 20 years, the coach wants these players to get exposure to top-level futsal.
What we wanted to see was exposure, and fitness level as well. So I think it will be a great time for us, opportunity for us. Best 6 games we're playing.
Fiji plays the New Zealand side 3 times on the tour and will face 2 top clubs from New Zealand and 1 from New Caledonia. Team departs for New Zealand on the 12th of next month. Rohit Deo, FBC Sports.
The Bar women's football side has successfully defended their inter-district championships title, defeating Rewa 2-0 in the final at Govin Park in Bar today. Earlier in the semi-finals, Bar defeated Lambasa 1-0, while Rewa edged Lautoka 3-2 on penalty kicks after both teams were locked at 0-0 after full time. Nandronga took out the Premier Division, defeating Suva 6-0 in the final. And Bar received $2,000 for their victory, while Rewa walked away with $1,000. Manchester United and Leicester City played to a 1-1 draw in the English Premier League football competition. The night belonged to City striker Jamie Vardy, who scored in the match in the process, breaking the record of scoring in successive EPL matches, taking his tally to 11 matches. And tomorrow morning's matches, Chelsea plays Tottenham Hotspur at 1 a.m, while Liverpool takes on Swansea City at 5:15 a.m. You can watch both matches live right here on FBC TV. Englishman Tyson Fury is the new heavyweight boxing champion of the world. 26-year-old Fury defeated title holder Ukraine's Vladimir Klitschko in a unanimous points decision after 12 rounds. Klitschko failed to defend his WBA, WBO and IBF heavyweight belts against the unbeaten Englishman at the 55,000 capacity Esprit Arena in Dusseldorf, Germany today. Fury now has fought 25 fights, winning all 25, 18 by knockout. In today's weather, showers affected the eastern parts of Fiji today. Isolated afternoon showers prevailed over the rest of the country. Now, Tropical Cyclone Tuni was lying about 340 kilometers north-northwest of Niue at about 1 p.m. today. It is moving southeast at 17 kilometers an hour and is expected to lie about 140 kilometers north of Niue at midnight tonight. There is associated active rain bands that will affect Samoa, Niue and the Cook Islands. Now in temperatures, the high temperatures were experienced throughout the country today, with Nadi, Lautoka and Ba hitting 34 degrees, while Lambasa recorded 30 degrees, while Suva and Savu-Savu were on 29. Now the outlook for tomorrow, strong east to southeast winds with average speeds of 45 kilometers an hour, gusting to about 55 kilometers an hour that is expected over most parts. Winds will be easing and becoming moderate to fresh from tomorrow. There will be isolated heavy falls. As for the further outlook, cloudy periods with some showers over the interior and eastern parts of the larger islands. Now recapping our main stories. Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama attends Commonwealth meeting after 8 years. 14 bridges redesigned and constructed along the Nambawalu-Draketi Highway. And MSEF to keep an eye on inter-island vessels to stop overloading during the festive season. This week's poll question: do we need more police patrols over the festive period? Do visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via our Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us those news tips at FBC News or simply #FBC News. You've been watching FBC News. I'm Amrita Priyadarshini.